May I give it a shot?
Yeah, you can, and you'll win immediately.
I won't win.
You will. He will win.
I won't win.
Okay, let's see what we're doing.
I was so excited.
Yeah, you're allowed to be excited.
I am a pirate.
You be the best pirate. Okay, turn around to actually face them in combat. Yo ho, a pirate's life.
All right, let's see a real captain do its work.
Yo ho, surprise!
Nice. You're just hitting them hardcore in all ways.
Oh,
This is kind of a small area to be fighting.
yeah, this is a rough area.
I really liked the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I thought they were really good. Not only like original content that like we had never really seen before, like pirates as rock stars, I think was a really fun like concept. But I also really liked a lot of the references they made to like old Errol Flynn pirate movies, which I also grew up with. In addition to, not like they came out when I was a child, obviously, but that like I grew up watching them with my grandfather, and I was a big fan. Captain Blood, the Seahawk, and like two others that I can't remember the name of, but. There are really great references. The monkey as the captain.
Now we're boarding the ship.
We're boarding the ship. I
Need to kill two scouts.
I always thought pirates were a really key element to magic in film, in cinema. You grabbed the. There we go. See if you can snipe them as well as I can.
I'm not as good as this, actually.
We'll see. Oh, you took one out. A two out. You took him. It's so funny to watch them just go down. They just like.
I can't hit anymore from here. That's okay.
All right.
We'll hop on now.
Yeah. Let's hop on pop.
Oh, I'm not using my weapons. I'll get used to this. I got this.
Obviously, when they came out, it was a big deal for me. I was just so excited that Disney was making a live-action Pirates film, and it was the perfect combination of something like Pirates of the Caribbean, where it's like piratey, but it's also fun, and then also like Disney, where they just go the extra mile with story and characters and stuff. So you just fall in love with the whole thing. And so I was a big Pirates of the Caribbean nerd for a really long time. I loved the world that they built. Specifically, I liked that it was a fantasy film. It wasn't pirates like differently than the Errol Flynn stuff, which was kind of supposed to be kind of historical, but an adventure historical film. They weren't trying to be historical at all. They were although they were very accurate with a lot of what they did.
That was
they were
almost
fantasy.
incredibly bad for me.
Yeah, you just fell literally on your face.
Oh, hold on. I got this. Let me recharge my gun, and I'll shoot him from a distance. Hey, you.
Go ahead.
Hey, you. Bang.
Nice.
Killed 5 enemies with a headshot.
I loved the Kraken, the Aztec Gold, all the stuff that just made it, it was almost like a Lord of the Rings or something, but in the Pirates of the Caribbean era. And that was really, really fun.
I wonder. I'm going to send this to my fleet. Because community missions, I think, have better ships. So I'm going to send it to my fleet. I think I'm okay to take on the other guys. They're just schooners.
Yeah.
You're promoted. You're now Captain Mariah Carey.
Captain Mariah Carey.
Got that one. Yeah, and then... Hey, you, in the distance. I'm going to board this one real quick.
Board it. You cannot release the wheel during conflict.
There you go.
Yar.
You know, in maritime combat, if you're boarding someone, it's polite not to attack the person who's boarding the other ship.
Really?
Even if it is on their side. I wish there was swivel cannons in front. I don't have swivel cannons in front.
Rude.
I know, right? Oh, I didn't want to do that.
Oof. Super awkward.
I meant to do that the entire time.
One of my dreams is to make a pirate fantasy film at some point.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's definitely like in the top 10 films that I've ever wanted to make. A live-action pirates movie, but take it to that next level, like Pirates of the Caribbean, and maybe a step further. Just really incorporate high fantasy, but as a pirate universe.
What incorporates? I've never understood this. What makes something fantasy? Because you often describe Star Wars as being a fantasy film, not a sci-fi film, and I don't know the difference.
I'll be honest. My descriptions are not like necessarily academic. Like, so if you went to a dictionary, you might not find my definition, but this is what I use for my own categorical purposes. Elijah's personal dialect. In Elijah's dialect, yar.
Sorry, I was yarring that shit.
Fantasy and sci-fi's main distinction is that fantasy contains elements that are unexplainable by merit, and that's what makes them like important to plot or character development or world building. The fact that they can't be explained. Versus sci-fi, which by like premise, it is explained, even if it's not technically in the exact text. You should be able to feel like it should be explained, like, or could be explained. So the distinction is like in Star Trek, they really try to imply that everything has and functions according to the same laws of physics as our world.
No one died by my swivel cannon.
You are a terrible swiveler.
I'm a little upset.
Yeah, when people are like, okay, Brittany is a great captain, great pirate lord, but she can't really man the swivel. Whenever she grabs the swivel, everyone's like, oh, all right, she's gonna try to swivel again. Everybody duck and cover. Brittany has the swivel.
I'd like to point out something.
Yeah.
The game glitched. I just killed this entire ship, and it doesn't matter.
And you still can't...
I can't do anything.
You can't kill the crew.
The crew's dead. I'm leaving.
You have to kill the enemy crew. You have killed 0 out of 5. Oh, it's because you boarded the wrong ship. There are 2 ships that you were boarding. And
that
you
was
jumped on the wrong
incredibly weird glitch.
Yeah, it let you board 2, and then you were killing people on the wrong
on the
of
other
the 2.
ship.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the ship that I'm boarding.
No wonder you couldn't kill any.
Okay, now it's working.
Yeah, now
Captain
it makes sense.
Brittany just murdered an entire ship crew that did not need to be murdered.
There was just like a crew that was like, well, we're just going to be polite and we're going to wait for him to finish boarding that other ship. And then one man jumped over and killed every single one of them.
Captain Brittany says, too bad, die. I killed my own crew member with that.
Oh.
I'm sorry, my crew. Don't worry, he gets properly, he gets workers' comp.
Yeah.
They'd be good pirate. Actually, it's really good to have workers' comp. Pirate compensated very well for injuries.
Okay.
Fun fact.
Yeah. Oh, yes. The contracts.
Yeah, they have contracts, and they get, like, a lot of money. Hey, we be your friend. Watch my friend hug you. Hug!
Awkward. Now we're friends. We were trying to kill each other.
I killed the rest of your teammates.
Now we're besties. I killed your brother Carl, but you didn't like him, right?
Now I'm...
yeah. So my understanding or my own definition is sci-fi.
Wow. Oh, because I already killed the crew.
Oh my gosh, you instantly won. Brilliant.
Captain Brittany is the best.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna repair the jack.
So fantasy is unexplainable, and sci-fi is, like, assumedly it can be explained. So the reason that I consider Star Wars fantasy, and only really the movies, not necessarily most of the video games and, like, TV shows, but the movies, I think, are distinctly fantasy, with the way that they function with the Force, but not just the Force, but there's no real explanation to the Death Star being able to destroy a planet. There's no real explanation as to why certain things work the way they do, how, hyperspeed works, why...
Warp speed. Warp speed, Mr. Spock.
Why, like...
That's another ship down.
Why Han Solo's ship sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. It does it very similarly to how a fantasy film would do, like, a steed, or how a fantasy film would do magic, or how a fantasy film would use destiny or the fates, or, that sort of thing.
I think you mean midi-chlorians, Captain.
Yeah. See, so Phantom Menace kind of leans a little bit more sci-fi, but even then there's plenty of fantasy in Phantom Menace. The video games, however, I think there's also a spiritual element to it, in my opinion. where the spirit of the piece in a fantasy film is about the plot and the characters and the world, and you do whatever is in the spirit of that, regardless of if it is the most cool or the most interesting way to take something to a degree. So I realize I'm speaking kind of nonsense here. What I'm trying to say is that in a fantasy film, you follow a very kind of specific energy, and you follow that energy to its fruition, and that's why you have Darth Vader uses the Force at specific times, but he uses his lightsaber at specific times, or he uses the Force sometimes, but he just he seems to not be able to use the Force at another time. And it's not because he can't use the Force, but because spiritually, for the point of the story, the emotion behind the story, the purpose of the story, it doesn't make sense. You don't need to do that in things that are more sci-fi related, which is why I consider the Star Killer games, what are they called? Force Unleashed. I consider them more of a sci-fi than a fantasy, because they're more, and this is very important to the spirituality of a sci-fi. It's, let me take this element that you understand.
Oh, did you see
understand
that
the
double
physics.
kill?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, where'd he come from?
And then he double killed you.
No! I was doing so well.
It's too bad you were playing, because
Yeah.
if I was playing, I would have won.
That's
because
very
I've
true.
got all the pirate skills.
You have all the pirate skills. But we did finish the
Oh, did you?
Did we lose the convoy?
We lost the whole thing.
I cannot believe that.
All right, should we leave? Should we give up and fail in front of everyone?
Should we? I can take on the convoy.
Do it.
I lost because I attacked other ships.
Yeah, take on the convoy. Get the convoy back.
Okay.
And then
We're
and
gonna
then
destroy
give me
that
the controller,
convoy.
and we'll fast travel to a fort.
Yes.
So to continue this spiel that you set me up on,
Yeah.
having no idea how lengthy.
Hi-yah!
So sci-fi, the spiritualities of a sci-fi is, let's take an element we all understand, usually a basic idea of science, sometimes a more current, modern piece of science. That's kind of the tradition, is you take whatever is fringe science and you go, well, what if this? And that's the point. So you create a story around that point, and you create a moral and characters and a world all around the idea that this specific element we all understand, what if it actually behaved like this? For the first sci-fi, I think people consider the first sci-fi Frankenstein, right? And the premise, the what if in Frankenstein, is what if we could use all of this anatomy that we understand, and we could harness electricity that we kind of understand, and we actually were able to bring someone back to life. The entire story revolves around that what if. And that's what makes it a sci-fi. So in a video game like The Force Unleashed, ready? Here's my soapbox. The point of that game is, what if the Force could accomplish this thing? Or what if a Sith Lord had this much power? And that's the premise of the game, is what would it be like if you had someone like Starkiller who could do just incredible things with the Force, or even Darth Vader, who does incredible things with the Force in that movie. So the Force is actually a sci-fi element in the game The Force Unleashed, as opposed to a fantasy element like in Star Wars, where the point of it is to fulfill an emotional. When Luke uses the Force, he doesn't use it because it's like, what can the Force do and what can't the Force do? When he uses the Force in Star Wars, it's, this is what is necessary. Like, I have to learn and grow, and then I'm rewarded by the Force accomplishing the goal that I want. And the Force, in a big way, is the representation of whatever idea. So Luke learns to trust himself in A New Hope, and then at the end, when he trusts himself and turns off his tracking system, he's able to destroy the Death Star. And he's rewarded by the Force rewards him for accomplishing the moral that he's been struggling with throughout the movie, of trusting himself. And versus in The Force Unleashed, which it's what is the moral quandary if the Force can do anything, and so it flips it and it becomes a sci-fi.
I see.
So that's where I always think, and I think some of the newer ones, the Disney ones, kind of really straddle that line. There's a lot of back and forth. Half the time they're like, look, if you can have a lightsaber and you can turn on a lightsaber with the Force, could you turn on a lightsaber with the Force while it's next to somebody's head and kill them that way? That feels like a sci-fi premise. Like that feels like a sci-fi action. That's not a fantasy moment that rewards an emotional breakthrough. It's a scientific study on
I'm going to ram him.
What if we
ramming speed.
ramming speed.
Okay, we got it.
So,
Okay, we destroyed the convoy for the second time, mind you, everyone.
And sci-fi, yay, we did it.